don't know when this song is. God, I forgot my coffee upstairs. You have to wait through the next song because I gotta get. Oh, my coffee's not upstairs. Write it down. It was just over there on the fritzy fridge. Oh my god, are we peaking? Oh, we got new audio levels. What's happening? This is why I didn't want to update this software right before the show. Alright, whatever. We're not waiting for that song anymore. What's up, everybody? What's going on? It's Friday. How you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you got your pants on? Do you got your pants off? You got your socks on? You got your socks off? No? It's Halloween. You guys and girls. What is going on with the screen? We've updated the software and it like moved everything around. Oh my god. This is why I hate updating software. This is why I don't want to update software ever. Look at that. It's all cut off. The 75 here. Well, either way, we should update this 75. Somebody left, so now we're down to 74 members on YouTube membership. Who knows why? We don't know why. No one knows why. Why did they leave? We don't know. They just left. That's just what they did. They left, and they went away. Patreon is correct, though. We got the patron members. Is, for some reason, sized to fit the screen. I don't understand what's wrong here. Refresh? Maybe I should refresh it. Nope, it's still cut off. I don't know. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Friday, guys. I built a new computer yesterday out of a bunch of old Frankenstein parts plus some extra parts. And then all the software everywhere wanted to update. I mean, even Google Even Google right now wants to update. I have a red icon that says "Update me" or "I'll stop interneting for you." I don't know. It's October 29th, 2021, and you won't see us until Halloween is over. So, happy Halloween to everyone out there. I don't know if you celebrate Halloween. I don't really care. I'm just saying happy Halloween, and you can take it how you want it. You can take it, you can stuff it in your pocket, or you can take it, you can throw it in the garbage. Do whatever you want with whatever I say. It doesn't matter to me. Just because you're free. You're free to do what you like. Because it's Friday, right? Freedom Friday. That's what we call it around here now. Freedom Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Do as you like. First to the chat today was Zip Gun, Aubrey Wright, Wesley's Fish Club, quickly followed again by Zip Gun, and then Frank Dominguez sleeping on the job, which, you know, it's just how it goes. Mikey Fishy, Fish Tropic, Tony Franzen, Paula Kreinberg, also with the comment, but how do we know it's not a conspiracy? We don't know. All we know is what we know, and then we don't know, but we don't really know anything because we're just people. How does that song go? People are people, so how should it be? Right? That's how it goes, like that.
Also, people are strange.
When you're a stranger?
Yep.
When you're in danger?
Or that.
And when you're alone?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Stranger danger.
Yep.
That's what that song's all about. It's always a question when we just really want to know. Jim Morrison, could you come back from out of the grave and let us know what that song was supposed to be about? Was it about stranger danger? Yeah? Was it about meeting weirdos in the park? I think that's what it was about. Alyssa Bentley's in the chat saying, hello, now I have a computer here, which means I'll be looking to the side to read what you say instead of down. Yes, that's right. We have now 3 computers in here, and I have likely... I'm probably likely being poisoned by it by somehow, but that's fine. That's fine, because it's Friday. Freedom Friday. Poison yourself with too much computer radiation, right? Yes, good. Chirish in the chat. Aubrey Wright, if I didn't say hi to you, I'm saying it again. Apps is here. Uh-oh. Did I forget to say hi to Fish Tropic? I'm going to say hi to Fish Tropic, because I thought I forgot. Rumbust, Sharpies Models and Aquatics, Dane Hritz, Apps again. Fish Tank Barn, Joel G, Apps, Sharpies. Okay, I think I said everybody. I don't know. Hi. Okay. That's good to know. Apps will be around 600 now. Uh-oh, what's that? You can never have too many bristle noses. Well, we'll get to the bristle nose talk here in just a second as soon as we get done with what's going on with me. It's Friday. It's Halloween. Olivia is a princess so far. So far, she's a princess for Halloween, and pretty cute. It's pretty cute. We'll see how long it lasts. She might want to become something else before the weekend is out. Who knows? But maybe she'll stay strong. Maybe she'll stay strong. Yeah, that's what's going on. Torrential downpours out here in the Pacific Northwest. The bomb cyclone, I guess, is what they called it. We got torrential downpours over the weekend through Monday, and then it was raining kind of all week. And then yesterday we got 2.4 inches of rain in one day, which is a lot for anywhere. I think I don't know. Maybe if you're in the Amazon jungle, you're like, that's not a lot. But I don't live in the Amazon jungle, so it's a lot. But that's what's going on around in this neck of the woods. It's supposed to be nice and clear and sunny for the weekend of Halloween, so that's going to be pretty good. I expect that to be fun. I'm going to be hanging out with my daughter, and we're going to go trick-or-treating and stuff. Mm-hmm. I believe that Olivia's request was that I dress up as a farmer, so I could pretty easily put that together with clothing I already own. So going to be pretty easy dressing up this time around. I don't have to dress up as like a pumpkin or a whatever. I don't know. A ghoul. A ghoul? Do people dress up like ghouls anymore?
That's like cheating, though, because the way that you dress already is like a farmer.
Uh-huh. Which is why I said I'll be able to pull this off. fairly easily. You know.
It's awesome.
It's a pretty easy one.
She's just lowballing it for you. Giving you
It's
the
what
old
she wanted.
toss.
Hey, man, that's what she wanted. That's
it's
what
awesome.
she wanted
She's
me
not
to dress
like
up as.
werewolf or nothing. No,
I just got to put on my cowboy boots and my coveralls and my work shirt and my straw hat, and I'm just ready to go trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
People will be like, man, who's this hillbilly? And I'll be like, give me some candy. You know? I'll be like, give me some damn candy. And they'll be like, oh, my God. And they'll give me all their candy. And it better be dark chocolate or I'm throwing it in the trash because today is Freedom Friday. And if you give me milk chocolate, I shall discard it like the garbage that it is. Milk chocolate's trash. The wax content is disgusting. It's just disgusting. But, you know, if I was starving in the desert and somebody gave me milk chocolate, I'd probably eat it. So, you know, hey, what are you going to do? It takes all kinds to run this desert. Oh, my God, we got a super chat. Alyssa, what do we do? What do we do?
We do the Muppet arms?
I can't do the Muppet arms today. I can't do it.
Oh.
I took a leave. I can't do that.
Oh.
I have pains. I'm in pain.
Well,
It's
I guess
fine.
we can just say thanks to Rumbus.
We can say thanks to Rumbus. He says you can never have too many bristlenose plecos. I know by experience.
He says you can have.
You can never have too many. That's what it says.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I can read it right here. It says you can never have too many bristlenose plecos. I know by experience.
Okay.
The Swedish kroner, 2726, which is coincidentally the exact amount of days that I've been sober. 2,726 days. And, you know, because it's Freedom Friday, I'd like to remind people that you don't need to dress up like a sexy barracuda and get all hammered on Four Loko, you know? You don't need to do that. It's Freedom Friday. You don't have to do that. You could dress up as a let's see here. You don't have to do a sexy barracuda. You could dress up as a gracious guppy and not get hammered on malt liquor and make bad choices.
You could be a vampire
If
shrimp.
it's something that you didn't want to do, you don't have to. Don't fall into the peer pressure of getting pregnant on Halloween, okay? That's all I'm saying. Well, let's count forward. How many months from Halloween is 9? Right? Alyssa's counting. She's counting.
July.
July babies.
Late July.
July babies? Because November, December,
Mm-hmm.
January, February, March, April, May, June. We're in the Ocho now.
Mm-hmm.
People could be born July.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How many people you know been born in July? That was Halloween malt liquor drinking. Dressed up like a sexy barracuda. Anyhow, welcome to the show.
Justin was born in
Our
July.
special guest for Fridays, Alyssa Bentley. I don't have any clapping sounds. I don't have any cheering, clapping sounds. But welcome, Alyssa, to the show. Our lovely guest on Fridays. As you know, Alyssa is world famous for breeding fish, like all the time. That's what I was gonna say. Like how do we put it into terms where it's like a lot of the time? And hey, all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Wordsmith over here.
They just
like a
kind of
thesaurus.
do it on their own. Like, I'm not going in the tank and, like, squishing them together or anything. They just...
Oh, my God.
Like, I know they do that with goldfish sometimes, but...
That's probably because, I mean, that's the only kind of behavior that somebody that would dress up like a sexy barracuda and drink malt liquor would get into, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
No.
Sharpie's Models and Aquatics giving us a shout out saying, no pants, no socks, home alone. LOL.
As long as you're warm enough, it's
Lols.
fine.
I mean, it's not it's not required to be wearing pants to watch the show.
No.
Yeah. You don't have to wear pants.
Nope.
to watch the show.
You can do the no pants underwear dance all you want, man.
Yeah, you can get weird. Feel free, because we don't know really what you're up to.
Yeah.
We don't know. Let's see. Happy Halloween, Stratford. What? Whereabouts? I'm in Norfolk. Oh my God. Do we have lots of people from like Virginia? Oh no, in the UK. Okay. Whew. Stratford and Norfolk. We have those both in the US. I swear the US is not very creative.
No. So people just came over.
Does anybody realize like the United States is like super derivative? Like all of our cities are named after cities elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know? All of our music is like, hey, well, we didn't create that, but we're just gonna say it wrong.
Right. Well, I mean, the majority of us aren't from here, technically, either. Whatever. We're not. Such a long conversation.
I'm an Earth native, dude.
Yeah.
I'm native to the Earth, brah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you were gonna get super political. Were you gonna get super political on my silly, non-sexy barracuda having humanity over here?
No.
No. You're gonna be like, technically, we're not all from here. Is that what you were gonna say? Oh my God, we're getting deep here right at the beginning of the show, guys.
Well,
What's
I was
going
just
on?
saying because there's Native Americans.
Are we trespassers?
Yeah.
What if my daughter's native?
Well, yeah, she is.
Then what do I do?
Well, then I think you've been naturalized.
I've been naturalized. Nice. No, I said, yeah, American history.
Or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, like, American history is super violent, very bad, a lot of badness, a lot of goodness, but a lot of badness also. Yeah. So I get where you're going there. You know, there's a lot of apologists, is what I'm saying, in the United States, where they're like, hey, let's just not talk about that. Oh, actually, a good example of that happened the other day. A friend of mine posted something that they thought was inflammatory history, right? Was like, oh, what is wrong with American history? And I was like, oh, actually, I'm familiar with that image that you're sharing. That's not even the actual inflammatory history. That's been edited. So it was an image, a giant sign that specifically said, these people of this ethnic background not allowed to live here. This is the white man's neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And it had been edited to say, basically non-Christian or heathens not allowed. This is a Christian neighborhood. It had been edited, photoshopped to that.
I know what the original is.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, hold on. No. Here's the original image of what that was. And they were like, oh my God, like it's worse. I'm like, yeah, it's worse. And yeah, so I don't know. It was just one of those things where you're like, yeah, I don't know. We've decided to put, well, not we, groups of people in the United States have decided to put some kind of weird sugarcoating all over American history just to act like, oh, that didn't happen, you know.
Right.
And it's very weird. I'm realizing that you're like super whitewashed. And I'm going to have to figure out why that is. Probably because I updated the, what do you call it?
Software?
Yeah, we updated the software. Yep, and it reset all of the camera settings to this default weirdness.
It's like, this is what Alyssa looks like, really. A ghost.
A ghost.
She's a spooky ghost.
We were doing Spooky Ghost for Freedom Friday. Is that what was going on? I think that's what was happening. It's pretty funny. Yeah, hold on. What's this button? I think it's this button. Zoom control, pan, and tilt. Oh my God, this is too much. Zoom? Oh my God, I can zoom way in. That's your hair. Okay. Do we do low light compensation? We don't want low light compensation. I think it's there it is. The brightness was turned up to 100.
Oh.
Brightness to 100 is too much.
Yeah, no. Put me in the dark.
I'll put you. Well, there's 0. That's not good. You got to be about a 70. You got to be about a 70 brightness. Otherwise, it's a too much. It's too much. There we go. Now you look like normal again. Okay. Did it just... Oh, my God. I think it just reconfigured.
It said, no, bro.
All right. We got to do this to 70 because I hit the close button instead of the apply button. Sharpness is correct. White balance has to go to 5500 because that's the light that's shining on you. We're going to go 50. We're going to go 50-30. There we go. Okay. Ah, see, there we go. Then I hit OK, and it was cool with it. I just closed the window before, and it just reverted back to ghost mode. This thing's a piece of crap. Okay, there we go. All right, back to what we were talking about. I just realized
now
like
I've
you were
got
a ghost.
color. Sweet.
Yeah, you were a ghost before. I don't know what was going on there. It's like
You brought me back to life, man.
well, see, the thing was is like so the software that I use, it literally asked me before the show, would you like to update the software? And I've literally been down the path of updating software for a day and a half now of just why is this broken now? What that's broken now? Okay, this doesn't work now. Oh, now the mouse doesn't show up. Now there's no mouse. Okay. Yeah, just losing my mind. And so I was literally like, the show starts in a half an hour. No, don't update the software. So then I started the software, and it was like, oh, you basically like have to. I don't know what's going on here. This is getting weird now. Is focus set to auto? I think we want focus to not be on auto. There we go. Okay. Stop doing the focus thing. I realized I had auto focusing turned on. And on a webcam, when it goes auto focusing, it starts focusing on whatever. It just suddenly decides, like, I shall focus on this item over here. What is that? I don't know what that is. It's like a thing over here. I'm just looking at it. I'm a camera. I'm weird. Yeah,
It's like,
there we
look
go.
at this.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Isn't
Stop
it
doing that. You're going to confuse the camera. Anyhow, so I was like, look, I don't want to update the software. So I get the software loaded up, and then I'm like getting everything set up. And then it would not let me resize the window. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
You know, you have like an application window, and it's sized to gigantic for some reason. You're like, shrink down. It would only let me shrink it on the vertical axis. Is that how you say that?
Sure.
Right? It would only let me shrink it down this way, but not this way. So it was literally like expanded out over 2 monitors. I'm like, what? Okay. So then I was like, fine. I guess it disables features in the software until you update it, I guess. Weird features. Don't know why, but hey. Then I updated the software, and then it's like, now you must authorize all access to all of the things. So then I got to go through the 3-factor authentication to allow the software to go to the YouTube channel, so that the YouTube channel can communicate with the software. And now all the buttons are moved. So, that too.
Yeah.
Which is good, because then you're like, oh, I've had plenty of time to learn where these buttons are a half an hour before the show starts.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Aren't you an expert at it already?
My expertise is deep. I have rich, deep understanding as to like where the buttons are now because they're different from every other time I've used this software. Right. So yeah, I think you're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Smart guy over here, just so smart. Yeah. Anyhow, there are at least 5 Stockholms in the United States. Oh my God, really?
That's so weird.
Ugh. Very derivative.
And anybody who is in a U.S.-based Stockholm probably makes the joke on a regular basis that they have Stockholm Syndrome all the time.
Probably.
I would imagine so. Either that or it's a boring town.
It's most likely a boring town. I think that would probably be the reality.
They might just be tired of the joke.
Fish Tropic says, you count those days? Damn, your addiction must have been life-altering. Yeah, I've made that very apparent. I feel like I've made that very apparent on this show. But
also, Rumbus just likes to keep track.
But also, Rumbus likes to keep track.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like Jimmy P says, have fun with your daughter at all costs, with a thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will. Yes, regardless of anything else that's going on, I will have fun with my daughter. I don't know, man. It's like it's always like super difficult to like try and explain that to a fan base, right? Because I feel like the parasocial relationships that people have with a fan, being a fan of something, and then being a fan of something, and then being a fan of something that's not doing what you want it to be doing right at the time that you want it to be doing it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I say it just like as a cast net over the Seattle football Seahawks or
Nine Inch Nails.
or Nine Inch Nails or Black Widow or actual people like Colin Jost's wife, the Black Widow.
Oh.
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Scarlett Johansson married the guy from Saturday Night Live.
Aw.
Weekend Update.
Aw.
Yeah. They have a baby, I think.
That's
I think
adorable.
that's what they did. That's adorbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like learning, that John Oliver is married to that lady from Saturday Night Live also.
Who's he married to?
If you ever watch their episodes and they're doing the Wanda Joe and whatever, like they're doing their televangelist skit, that's his wife.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
No, he's married to Kate Norley.
Really?
Who is John Oliver's wife, Kate Norley?
Am I wrong? It's okay. I'm okay with being wrong.
She is Norley is a former actress and executive known for her role in the 2009 film Transitions. Norley joined the Army after 9/11 attack in New York City as a combat medic in Fallujah. She's an actress, model, former military person or whatever. That's not his wife. That's this lady. I mean, she looks like a blonde that would be on Fox News. And apparently they met at the Republican National Convention.
Oh, I'm less in love with that idea. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just thought that it was going to be two people who were just like awkward and weird together.
I bet that they're probably awkward and weird together. That would be my guess.
I hope so. Just my little awkward, weird heart proud. Oh, well, that's okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's not the chick from Saturday Night Live. That's all I'm saying. I didn't think it was.
Oh, well.
But I don't know who she is. So who knows? Oh my God, we have so many super chats here. We got to figure them out. Oh, you guys are breaking the internet. Lawrence Saunders with a £5 super chat says, Jack Dempsey breeding with small electric Akara. Can this be right? I had babies. Can you give advice, please?
Jack Dempsey.
A Jack Dempsey breeding with a small electric Akara. Well, let's see. Because Akara cichlids are a cichlid, and Jack Dempsey's are a cichlid. I wonder if they're, like, close enough. I mean, I know that their body shape and everything like that is very close. Let's think. What are you on over there? Huh? Electric Blue Jack Dempsey. Yeah, and the Akaras are from Central America. They're both Central American cichlids. I don't know. I mean, I would say that, like, off the top of my head, like if you actually have, so like I wouldn't say I'm definitely not like a cichlid expert or anything like that. I don't spend a ton of time like researching cichlids and whatnot, so I wouldn't say one way or another. But my assumption would be that like if you have relatively close species of anything, so like a horse and a mule, they make a donkey.
Horse and a donkey make
Horse
a mule.
and a donkey make a mule. Yeah, all right. I don't know. Either way, the mule can't breed after.
Right.
They're sterile.
Except for very, very, very rare cases.
Well, it's like a lion and a tiger. They make a liger, right?
Mhm.
But they're sterile. You know?
Mhm.
So
Well, actually, they're not.
the ligers?
Yeah.
The ligers are sterile.
No.
All right, man, we were looking that up.
Because they pretty regularly make liger and
Male
Tie-on.
ligers are consequently sterile,
Okay. What about females?
while female ligers are not. Ligers are tigons. Were long thought to be totally sterile, but the females aren't.
Mm-hmm.
So you eventually just breed out whatever genetics, though, because the males are sterile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's not that every critter that's created is sterile. That's a different thing.
Well, it's not that every... Okay. Yes. It's not that every critter is sterile. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really casting that dispersion on there. I was literally just bringing up that talking point that, like, close species can breed, but typically there's some problem with them breeding later down the line, right? Like ligers or... what is it? Mules are sterile. Donkeys aren't. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like donkeys can keep breeding with other donkeys and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They make mules. Mules are a useless turd because they can't breed after that.
Right.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's probably possible that you could get those cichlids to breed, but you probably end up with a line of fish that doesn't do anything after the fact. Was more to my point.
Right.
And also they might not be able to they also might not be able to, like, grow to maturity. Like, they might be all screwed up somehow, which is like very difficult to like figure out when the fish are a little baby. It's like when you get little guppies and when they're babies, you never notice the crazy arch back, know, but then as they grow, you're like, oh, there's something wrong with the genetics going on here. We got a bunch of humpback guppies here that can't swim very good once they get bigger. You're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
So like I think that might be what you have going on. That would be like where I would go as far as like researching and figuring out what was happening. But realistically, making a new fish, I personally don't have a problem with it. Like, I personally don't care. I'm not one of those guys that's like, these are F1 fish, and they have to be bred with only F1 fish from the specific cast net that was thrown in the exact same spot. I'm not that dude. And I always get really weird vibes from people that are that way. It's like the eugenics thing,
Mm-hmm.
where you're like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a slippery slope of conversations once you start to uncover the layers of the human that you're talking to that's freaking out about keeping the genetics pure, if you know what I mean. You're
No,
like,
I do.
"Ew."
Okay. So there's like lines of thought about it. If you have, in this particular case with the Jack Dempsey and the electric blue Acara, if you only have those two fish in the tank and that's it, and they've made babies, okay, cool. So you have Dempsicaras or something. Cool. See what they grow up as. See if people want them. Just make sure that you label them. Great. As far as the collection point, pure line, whatever, it's a different niche of the hobby. I just see it as a different niche of the hobby. It's important in the regard of what I like to call basement arcing. Which is like there's certain species and groups of fish that are being lost because of habitat destruction, and the thought is if people are going to maintain specific populations and they have it like written down somewhere, like where that population is from originally, if that habitat comes back, they can be part of the, reintroduction process. Maybe that can happen. Maybe not. Maybe it's useful. Maybe it's not, but it's a different aspect of the hobby of breeding fish for the hobby. And so it's like with in my basement, I kind of do both. I have fish that I experiment with and like cross and do that kind of stuff, but then I have other fish where it's like, okay, well, these are Wasisa Springs, Elasoma gilberti, sunfish, that's where they're from, and I have not introduced others of the same species from possibly other collection points. Cool.
Right.
But then I've got my bristlenoses where I'm like, well, what happens if I cross this with this? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so like Mike, the Fish Tank Barn says, I'm that way with gooidids. Gooidids. I always forget how to say it right.
I don't know. I say goodaids, and I don't know if I'm right.
But that's basically because they're endangered, which I understand when you're like trying to preserve a species, right? Like
Yeah.
I understand like where the effort comes from. Like I 100% get that. So with that caveat out there, my stance on things is it's a distinctly human trait to try and purify a genetic lineage, right? There's no single animal on this planet that would refuse to breed with a species just because of like where it's from, or it may be like a little bit of a different species or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the crossbreeding of different species and everything is what led us to having the speciation that we have now.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Like, so I always find it odd. And for me, I have a lot of experience in the fish, in the shrimp side of things, of getting into crazy arguments with crazy shrimp people. That like, this is a pure red line crystal shrimp. Like, how do you know?
Right.
Because I know. Oh, have you actually done the gene mapping on these? You've done the genetic testing to know? Like, and then they're like, no, I just know. Okay, cool. So stop saying that because you don't know. Like, you're just saying a thing. You're just saying words out of your mouth. Like,
right.
Where do these come from? Well, I imported them from a guy. Who's the guy? Where did he get them? Where does he keep them? What's going on here? Right? Like, and it's just an incredibly frustrating arguments to get in with people because it's all faith-based argumentation, right? Is that like, oh, I have these and I know that they're this because I know. And it's like, well, how do you know? Because Jesus. Like, okay. Wait, so you have the like divine knowledge of God or whatever? Like, okay, man, like I understand like that's the ideology that you're living your life, but why are you ascribing it suddenly to business and conversations with other people about stuff that you have like basically zero empirical evidence other than what you observe with your eyes?
Right.
Which, like, okay, it's great. They look good. Cool. How are you verifying that you have a pure line of anything? Like, it's bizarre. What are you laughing at?
Sharpies goes, in Australia, they're G'dayids.
G'dayids. That makes sense. I like
Sorry. I got distracted.
No, it's good. You can read the chat and comment. That's part of like what we're doing here.
It was just in the middle of a nice rant.
Oh no, it's fine. Like I don't know how many times like oh, you're charging a premium for your pure shrimp.
Your
like,
PRLs.
Yeah, you're like, well, you can't even verify any of this. Like, okay, I guess we won't be doing business. You know?
And isn't the red supposed to be the recessive gene anyways? So if you do red and red together, they're just supposed to make more red regardless.
Well, okay. So like with crystal shrimp, like they're just specifically bred for coloration. That's basically all that anybody ever was really doing. Even the guy who got the black crystal shrimp to turn red, he basically was just selectively breeding from ones that he could observe had more reddish tone to them, right? So it's a really weird like argument to get into with people where you're just like, yeah, but you haven't even done the genetic testing. Like, how do you even know that you have anything that's like any specific genetics? Like, you're just looking at something and saying it is what it is. It's like, see that dog over there? It's a purebred. Well, how do you know? It's like, because I looked at it with my eyes. Oh, okay, rad. What? Like, how do we, like,
it came with paperwork, bro.
Did it? Okay. Did we even verify the paperwork? Did we even verify? No, it's just fine. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But to me, I'm like,
it costs me a lot of money.
I'm like, if you breed a hybrid and it's stable and it does well and it's healthy, like, awesome. Like, why would you not? Like, why would you not do that? Like, to me, there's no downside. Like, the selective breeding of just the animals just breeding when they can have produced the robust animals and creatures that are on this planet already, like through natural selection. So it's like, if you had these two fish, they bred sterile fish, that line wouldn't continue on because they just can't breed the next time, right? So it's already kind of built in of like, you don't even have to worry about it, and you don't even really have to like, I don't know. I guess it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just the pure capitalism craziness of it all that like makes me crazy a little bit or something.
Yeah, and it is. It is a little crazy.
It's weird. I don't know. It's weird.
It is.
To me. $5 super chat from the Fish Tank Barn for the Halloween Candy Fund.
Nice.
He says, my kids have almost outgrown Halloween, so enjoy the fun with Olivia. Respect. I respect that. I understand. As kids grow older, they're definitely, obviously, they're going to change. But on a personal note, I am friends with Mike on Instagram, and he did post some lovely pictures of his kids playing volleyball and going to tournaments and doing all that kind of stuff. I feel like you might not be out collecting candy, but that sounds like a lot of fun too.
Yeah. For me,
like, it's just a different activity, but
I mean, we got the bucket and we got the candy. We'll dress up and wait to see if we see like the parade of like kids in adorable costumes. I don't know if this neighborhood does that.
Yeah, this is your first time.
Yeah, it's my first time in this neighborhood.
Right.
Well, my neighborhood.
Yeah, your neighborhood where your house is.
Right, my neighborhood where my house is.
We're in my house right now, so
yeah,
that would be weird.
Totally
Do you live
different
here now?
No.
Oh, okay, I was just checking.
No, this basement is way quieter than my basement.
It's true. It's true. You got a lot of sirens. I guess we'll say that.
Yeah, that's not what it is. It's just the bubbly sounds.
Sirens. Like those ladies that try to sing the ships into the rocks. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's very distracting down there, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's like, what's he doing? Is he eating stuff? He's eating stuff. Yeah.
It's eating.
Eating stuff.
Eating.
But yeah. I just want to see the parade of adorable kids in adorable costumes coming through.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping that since we put out like some pumpkin decorations and stuff, and we're gonna have the light on, that kids will show up.
They might. I mean, I don't. I guess like.
I don't know if they're
I
doing
guess my
that.
experience is that there's less kids trick or treating now than when I was a kid. So like when I was a kid, it was like. It was pretty buck wild out there, you know. Like the kids were everywhere. Like it was kind of crazy, but
Yep.
it just seems like less of them go trick or treating now. And speaking of evolution, I think it's the evolution of our society a little bit, where like it's not that big of a deal for kids, you know. Like honestly, I just don't think that it is. I mean, when you watch like Bubble Guppies and Octonauts and you got toys and you live in a pretty 21st century life as a little kid, it's like, well, you want to go out in the rain and ask somebody for a piece of candy? I don't know. I guess we could go do that, but you know, I don't know.
I don't know. I
I
would
do.
always
I
get
have to, I have
thrilled
to admit that, like, as a dad, I do look forward to the I'm as a dad, I'm looking forward to the adult adventures. Not necessarily adult, but like young adult adventures, like taking Olivia hunting or going camping and hiking and all that stuff as she's older. Like I look forward to that stuff. So, you know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we're going to have fun. I think we're going to have fun.
Mhm.
I feel like the pumpkin patch was fun for Olivia this year, but I think next year it'll probably be next level.
Yeah.
Where she's like closer to 4. Like I think she's gonna probably run amok. I think she was a little bit, you know, like what's going on here with this?
Well, she'll have the like memory of the experience from this year,
Right,
and soon it'll just be like every year that's what you do.
right. So we went over to Vicky's aunt and uncle's house, which they live on a farm out in the boondoggles, wherever you want to call it. And it was like the first time I've really seen Olivia being shy was out there. Like, but it only lasted like 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. But she was feeling super shy, like out of her element. Was pretty funny. It was pretty weird to see her like being shy like that. But the pumpkin patch, she was kind of shy like that too, a little bit. But I think next year it'll be a little bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. This is left field, but to go back to what Sharpies was asking earlier about how many bristle noses is too many bristle noses, when you're starting to do like 50% water changes every single day just to try to keep on top of the like just like the mulm and waste level in your tank, that's too many.
Like that's too many?
That's too many. When trying to vacuum out the crud at the bottom of the tank is like you going like down there with your fingertips, going like, get away, bristle noses. You're going to go up the tube. And they're like, no, we want to go where the tube is. And you have to check to make sure you don't have any like 1-inch babies in your bucket every single time. It's too many bristle noses, man. It's too many.
You're just going to need a bigger tank.
You're going to need either more tanks and bigger tanks, or just suck it up and bring them all to the store or the wholesaler or whatever you got nearby. Because at that point, you're just like, you got to save yourself, man. You're running through so much water, and those fish, they get much bigger, and they're going to start killing each other. No matter how much work you do, no matter how many like system flushes you do, like just running water in there and just sucking it out at the same time and just letting it go for like an hour, just trying to get it all cleared out. It's just too crowded.
That's too crowded?
Yeah, it's too freaking crowded, man.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think you better get those numbers up. Yeah. Oops. Oh my God, I exited the. Oops. I exited the thing. Oh, where'd my chat go? Oh, there it is. Okay. I gotta close that and then reopen this chat. I left the studio on accident. I gotta do pop out chat. Here we go. Pop out. Pop out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Stephen P, 150 of them and a 29. Oh my gosh. And so then if they keep growing and then they start going through fish puberty and then they start getting hormonal and they start like fighting each other, and then you start getting sicknesses because they are attacking each other all the time and just getting stressed out. Get them out. Got to get them out. You start seeing bristles, start getting the ladies with the round bellies. No. That's when you got to out the door. Make new lives somewhere else.
Well, that's when you got to ship them off to the store and make the big bucks.
Yes.
You're going to be unbelievably wealthy.
Right. $1.25 per fish. Or you can find a better store that will take them and make depending upon the fish type. If it's a regular brown one, you'll make $2 to $3 a fish. But they'll only take like at most 18.
Riches.
Yeah.
That's the riches, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, and speaking of that, that was kind of one of the topics that I had here, but we hadn't read the article together yet. And it's an article about ornamental aquaculture may be overlooked by the food production side of the sector, but there are still plenty of business opportunities in this sector, with marine ornamentals generating $5 billion a year. So a lot of this article here has to do with ornamental fish breeding on the marine side. And, you know, mainly just because that's just where this article focuses on. Obviously, most people around here are freshwater people because I focus on plants and that kind of stuff. And although a lot of you are marine fans also, I think that a lot of the information in this article here does have a parallel with the freshwater. I think it's just like the numbers are different. You know, like you're not breeding clownfish because, you know, they're now freshwater, right?
Right.
So like some of those numbers and whatnot, but there is also a bunch of stuff in here about the freshwater stuff and a lot of the ponds. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys was this image right here, which I feel gives a really good representation of what is happening when, but I gotta do the ad source now, and the buttons are all different. This one? I think it's this button right here. But this gives you a good illustration of what the ponds look like in, you know, Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, wherever overseas. And you see a lot of this in Florida also, you know, certain parts of the United States that have the temperature to handle these outdoor ponds and stuff. And I can say that I do know there are some local places that have ponds like this in Washington State, but they do focus on things like koi and whatnot that can handle the cold temperatures. But this can kind of give you an idea of what it looks like if you are to head to a sort of traditionally run fish farm, is that you have a hole in the ground, whether it be cement or it be lined with a liner, or even just, like in this instance, it's just a hole in the ground where you have water in it, and then you have some filtration implemented in it, which is mostly just an air-driven oxygenating situation. And like you can see in some of these how bad the algae is in some of them. Some of them are looking kind of clear. Some of them are covered, in fact. Even in this one over here has a sunshade over it and whatnot. But that these opportunities are available, but they're definitely one of the issues that I constantly bring up to people is that most of these things aren't available to somebody who's just starting out. Like if you only have a few tanks. One of the reasons why I got into shrimp was to make my hobby sustainable, because you don't need a giant footprint to do shrimp. I think most everybody watching the show right now understands that you don't need 400-gallon tanks or ponds in the backyard or anything like that to be doing shrimp. You can actually do them in 40-gallon tanks. 40-gallon tanks are kind of my recommendation. They're easier to manage. It's much easier to deal with the water volume. But I've seen guys all the way down to 5-gallon tanks doing a bunch of tiny little shrimp tanks. But for the average person that's not working on it 60 hours a week or anything like that, I do kind of recommend the 40-gallon tanks. But from my own personal experience, like shrimp's fueled my ability to maintain continuing to do this hobby. I was making the world's worst YouTube videos. Now I make the second worst in the world YouTube videos. But I was able to like kind of continue doing that sort of stuff. And the reason I kind of bring up this article is that it has been brought to the table that this is a viable business that I think is easily ignored. And as I kind of try to bring up topics about the environment, like how we're going to maintain the environment, how we're going to continue moving forward. Like last week, I brought up about the salmon fish farms that, are feeding people, right? And it's like one of the big reasons that I would bring that up is because the humanitarian side and the economical side, and how can we kind of join forces on keeping that stuff going? Because you need the economical side in order to keep the thing going. Like you can't just for instance, you can't just keep trying to breed pandas forever.
Right.
Like eventually you will hit a point where there's just no money left if they aren't breeding, and they are just going to die off.
There's
right?
just going to be too many pandas.
Well, there'll be no pandas.
Well,
if you keep trying to breed them and they aren't breeding,
yeah, that's
like,
true.
The economic side of it they will run out of money.
Yeah, that's true.
Like there's not just an endless bucket of money for the panda breeding program, right? Like they have to get people to donate and stuff like that. They have to continue doing that, you know? And so my thought process has a lot to do with, how do you get the economic side to come together with the environmental side so it can become a self-sustainable thing? Like, maybe you want to continue to breed a fish, but you have to find the economic side to continue doing it. You can't, not everything in this world can just be altruism and I'm just doing it for free, because it costs money to do any of this stuff.
Right.
Right. So, that's sort of my point, is to kind of like bring up these types of things. So maybe people are kind of bringing in more, more articles and more research and stuff, so we can try and find out, like, hey, what are some viable new things that are coming onto the market that might be a possible way that people can implement in the United States? Because 99% of the time, even with an article like this, like I showed you that picture, I think that was in Singapore or something like that. I forget where this is. I don't know. I forget where the credential is on this, but most of everything around here is, so this here is in Singapore. This is Brazil, China, India. It normally doesn't focus on the American side of it, other than Florida is a little bit of the thing. But most everybody that's in Florida has some kind of grandfathered land that they've been able to just kind of convert and be like, oh, I guess we're just going to do this with the land and whatnot. Whereas most people I know in the community aren't like already owning 300 acres that they could just do whatever they want with.
Yeah.
Most everybody's just kind of trying to work and figure out, how they can go a little bit by little bit and try and keep their thing going. But just to try and like, how can we have a conversation about the economics of it if people aren't even like recognizing that like this should have an economic side to it at this point?
Yeah. Yeah, and I do end up subsidizing a lot of my hobby with selling my fish back to stores and then credit, you know. I would not actually be able to afford the way that my fish room runs if it wasn't for the fact that I was selling. And some stores actually do give me money and not just fish, like store credit, which is really nice. And the stores that only offer store credit, I keep those in my head. I'm like, okay, if I need things, I'll go to this store for that and that store for this, and I know these guys will order me whatever I want. These guys always get something weird and crazy in that I'll check out first, you know. These guys have better prices on stuff, but they also pay the least, you know. It's like, it's yeah, but nobody carries the 70-ounce tubs of Repashy anymore. I have to order them direct from Repashy, and that's $100 every time. I'm sorry, $106 because of the shipping.
Yeah.
3 times a year.
Yeah. Dank Tank says, agreed, but I did go to the panda research base in Chengdu, China. I don't know, I said that wrong, I'm sure. And that was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, look, if you can get access to go check out a research center or an environmental research center or a zoo, I don't know, whatever, awesome. That's great. No one is criticizing or even like saying that that's wrong. Like, it's great that they're trying to do that. My point is that eventually the money will run out.
Yeah.
And either there'll be lots of pandas and you get them out into the woods and maybe you get them going again out in nature, or there's just no more pandas. Like, that's basically how that works. Because I would never tell anybody in China they were doing the wrong thing by turning their backs on the pandas if, like, it meant 10,000 people or something were going to die because you spent all the money over here to keep the pandas alive while everyone starved outside or something, right? So, like, we're all going to have to make some of those decisions at some point in time. Maybe they're tiny. Maybe they're a microscopic decision. Maybe you decide to freak out about paper straws on Facebook, and that's all. That's all the decision that you ever made, was you start to lose your mind because your straw was made out of paper products, right? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's all you ever do. Yep. Or maybe you're the person running the research center and you realize that there are starving people that need food, and you could either continue to do this project or save those people out there or something, right? Like, I understand that's the either end of the extreme examples, but that's the point. We can't just think about, like, oh, everything will be fine. You know, we can't just continue to think everything will be fine forever, because so far everything's been reasonably okay or whatever. You know, it's like driving 90 miles an hour on the freeway all the time and going like, well, I've never gotten in a car crash, so that won't happen.
Right.
You know? Or I've never gotten a speeding ticket. Right?
Right. Are you like somehow aware of how I lived from age 19 to 23?
I think we all did. But, you know, I think one of the things that I'm trying to kind of root through in my head a little bit, and I've been talking with people about, is that, so this last year where we live here in the Pacific Northwest, we had the heat dome, okay? We had a heat dome that was, this only ever happens once in 1,000 years or something, right? This crazy weather event, right?
Yep.
Then, this winter, so far, we've had the bomb cyclone,
right,
which is currently happening. This only happens like once every 100 or 200 years.
Right.
a cold water hurricane, basically, right? Huh? Why does it seem like all of these crazy weather events just keep happening?
If it happens again next year, you can just say this is the start of the next 1,000 years.
Right. Oh, yeah. But it's happening every 6 months as opposed to, 500 years or 100 years or whatever, right?
Right.
So I think, that's kind of some of the reason that I kind of bring that up. It's like, we're seeing droughts in places that have never had droughts. We're seeing, crazy weather that we've never seen in places before. Like, this is going to continue to happen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think, like, what's the point in broadcasting a show that we're just literally going to, what are we going to just talk about? Like, hey, Alyssa, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Joel, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, too. Let's talk about how we're doing okay for the next 2 hours. Like, right on.
I'm
Hey.
all right.
I made my mortgage payment on time, so,
Sweet.
yeah, that's this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
I managed to make an appointment after only 5 hours of struggling yesterday. It was great.
Well, there you go. Making appointments, doing things,
Yep.
whatever. S says this is why you avoid the coastline. I believe like something like 90% of humanity lives near the coast. Something
Right.
like that. Something crazy like that. Some crazy number.
Large cities have a tendency, people have a tendency to congregate near coastlines
Right.
or waterways. Just historically and
That's a good-
currently.
That's a good. Tank says pandas drinking through paper straws in a tropical monsoon heat vortex.
Yeah, because they can't drink through the bamboo straws because they would just eat the bamboo.
Because that's grass. Gross.
They would just eat
Gross.
the bamboo.
Right. Well, I mean, some people get pissed at me because they're like, I don't want to listen to your show anymore because you're always talking about wacky stuff and this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, what's the point in having a show? What, I mean, like, literally, what's the point in having a show if you just come on and you're like, yeah, it was, yeah, hey, guys, everything's just, like, totally normal. We're not going to really talk about anything, I guess. So,
It's
yeah.
like,
I guess maybe,
hey guys,
I
it's
guess
the Corvus and Alyssa conversation hour.
where we just talk about how we're doing okay and everything's fine. We're just going to hang and just be like, just going to sit here and be quiet, I guess. I
It's
don't
just a little bit cloudy outside, but
Yeah.
I've heard it's supposed to be nice and sunny out later.
know. Yeah. Yep. I heard the sun was going to happen.
Tomorrow.
Yep. Next
Don't
week.
worry. We're going to play some smooth
Next
jazz.
week's the thing. We're going to take a nap. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, I just ate the mic a little. I'm sure
Right.
that's probably delicious.
Well, and I think like like modern day society, like I shared this in the memes on the on our Discord, which you guys should become a member. Oh yeah, shameless self promotion, right? Hey guys, become a member or patron. You could become a patron, like you could become like the easiest. It's like $1. It's less than $1. I don't know how much is it. It's less than $1 a month because if you do the yearly thing,
It's 80 cents.
it's 80 cents or
Per
something
month.
like that. So you could become a member on Patreon, and you could become a patron member. That's like an easy way to do it. Or you could become a YouTube member, which is like $5 a month or $100 a month. There's different levels on there.
Mm-hmm.
I literally set up a level for Corey to be a member on, and he never became a member.
Aw.
It was a total inside joke membership level. And since it's a big pain in the ass to change the membership levels, I just was like, I'm just going to leave it. Maybe somebody else will sign up for it. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
You're like, oh man, I guess whatever. Okay. But I did share this out, and I think like this is a good, hold on. I'm going to show you guys this meme. We got to hit the media files here. Boom. Boom. So it's a pretty basic meme, right? That says, when certain companies brag about paying folks $15 an hour, I want you to consider something. 50 $15 an hour times 40 hours a week times 50 weeks is $28,000. That's approximately $24,000 take home. Divide that by 12. It's $2,000 a month. Most places insist income is 3 times rent to approve. Search your city for apartments at $666. Living wage, right? Because a lot of companies out there, the $15 an hour, this whole thing has become a big national conversation because some groups want $15 an hour to be our minimum wage. And then there are a bunch of people who basically get paid off by corporations to argue in our government that raising the minimum wage would be, I don't know, socialism or some kind of nonsensical BS that they throw on there, right? Anyhow, Ted Cruz sucks, and I hate him. But what I found to be
minimum wage right now
what
still is $7.15.
$7.25, I think. It's
When
been exactly the same.
My first job when
So,
I was
Like, okay, hold on. Hold your horses.
I'm holding
I
it
want to
right
hear
here.
about your first job.
holding it.
Hold it. Now, when I saw this posted, I decided I was going to read the comments. I wanted to see what the interaction that people were having. And you want to know what the argument was about? Everyone in the comments was arguing that $15 an hour isn't $28,000 a year because there's 52 weeks in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The argument was that there's 52 weeks in the year, not 50 weeks in the year, because all the United States people, the people from the United States were arguing you're supposed to work 52 weeks out of the year. Like, you're literally supposed to take no time off.
Right.
And that's how you're supposed to figure out what your salary is that you work every single day.
Without fail.
Every week, without fail. You never get sick.
Or
you never just take
they
a week off.
assume
You
that
never took
people
a
get
day
paid
off.
time off.
No, you never take a day off. You work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, 52 weeks out of the year, and that's how much your salary is, and you do not miss a day for any reason under the sun.
Right.
Which, okay, like, what?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to take at least 2 weeks off a year to get your head straight. Take some time off. I don't know. Go home and visit with your whoever is there. Is it your wife? Is it your daughter? Is it your boyfriend? Is it your girlfriend? Is it your
cat?
Man friend? Is it your husband? Is it your polyamorous group of people that you live with? I don't care. Take a week off and go home and visit with them.
Do something other than just try not to live in filth.
But yeah, just try to like do your thing. But that was the argument. The argument around this wasn't that $15 an hour isn't a living wage or anything like that. It's just that these people are too lazy to work 52 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you've missed the whole entire point of what is going on here. Is that there's nowhere to live for $600 a month.
Right.
Right? So, and it's like, but the same groups of people that want to argue against the $15 an hour are the same people that want traditional home values where a man gets to stay home and work, or a man goes to work nonstop and the wife stays home and takes care of the house and the children, right? These are the same people. And if anyone wants to argue with me against that, I will smash your face with argumentation beyond the ability for you to even remotely try and talk your way out of it.
In the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house.
Right. Yeah.
In the suburbs with the garage.
With the garage and
that
a fence.
works.
And a fence and 3 dogs and all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And a yard.
Yeah, and a yard, and everybody has a yard, and everybody lives in a cul-de-sac, and everybody has 5 cars and a boat, and all sorts of. You just make $15 an hour, one person going to work.
Right.
It's fine. We got traditional values, right?
Right.
So, my whole point is with that is that how could you possibly be on the side of traditional values, right?
Mm-hmm.
These supposed conservative traditional values, and yet, and then also say you're for the blue collar people. I'm for the workers, but you don't want any workers to get a raise, right?
Right.
But you also want these traditional values so that the workers can go to work and then the non-workers can stay home and take care of the kids. It makes no sense to me. Like, how? How could you even say you're on the side of any worker?
Right.
Like, you're on the side of literally like, oh, you're a senator now and it's super easy to get reelected where you're at because you've already been elected there. I don't know. Anyhow, your first job.
My first job started in 1997. So, last century. And I made $6.25 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I still lived at home because I was in high school. And so then my first apartment by myself was in Minneapolis. And it was $670 for a very small, like 400 square foot, 1 bedroom, walk up brownstone, no parking kind of place. And I think the minimum wage in Minnesota at the time was maybe $6.50. I luckily was making like $12 an hour at the time. And could barely make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that same apartment that I used to have at that address, the same footprint and everything, is going for $1,400 for a 400 square foot, 1 bedroom apartment that was built in the 1920s. Clawfoot tub near Loring Park. You couldn't, even at $15 an hour, you would not be able to qualify. Although a lot of places now are only requiring 2.5 times rent, not 3 times rent anymore, because they recognize that people need to spend a higher percentage of their salary on rent.
Right.
And so when I hear about people thinking that, if we give people more money, the price is going to go up. And I know we say this all the time. Prices are already up.
Yeah.
They're already up.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that, okay, let's start here at the beginning for a second. Okay, so Fish Tropic brings up a good point, that they were asking, how much money do you have to make to be poor? That's the question, right? So obviously it's not a one for one answer, right? Because you could pull up the median the median income in the United States, which obviously is going to be different from region to region, right? Because food costs, transportation costs, housing costs, all that kind of stuff is different. I mean, you can literally go 40 miles away and be like, oh, it's cheaper to live here.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also going to have different economic implications as to where you live, right? So if I move to, say, Tacoma and I work in Seattle, now I have to drive 40 miles in order to go to work in Seattle, right? So while my house might be cheaper as compared to the house in Seattle, now I have to not only pay for the transportation to get there, to and back, insurance, gasoline, car maintenance, car wear and tear, all that kind of stuff, but also I have to pay with my time.
Yes.
In order to travel there, right? Because it's probably going to take me about an hour each way. So if we're talking about an 8-hour workday with your breaks included, it's about 9 hours while you're going to be at the place that you work, right? But also you add an hour on either end. Now you're at 11 hours plus the preparation time to get ready for work, because you don't just walk out the front door right after waking up.
Right.
You probably got an hour and a half in the morning to kind of get up, get ready, find out what's going on, all that kind of stuff. Now you're at like 12, 13 hours. Well, by the time you get home, now you got to get ready to go to bed. You got to make dinner. You got to do this. You got to do that. You really only have about 3 hours, 2 hours a day to yourself, something like that. So you start to compound like what is going on and the cost of what you're paying in order to live, for instance, in a cheaper area. So the Fred like economical data, that is one of the places where I kind of go looking at like United States economic trends over time for household incomes and stuff. They have a basic like what the real median household income should look like. And why do they call it the real median income? Is because it's breaking down kind of like the realistic input output from households. And one of the big scary things that is going on right now is that Americans are taking on an incredible amount of debt. So the average American right now is carrying something like $60,000 in debt or something like that. It's bonkers when you start to realize that like people are paying for the future items that they own right now, right? Like, you know, you're carrying around $60,000 worth of debt that's not a mortgage.
Right.
What the hell is going on? Like, something is screwed up. Like, why is everyone carrying around all of this debt that they will be basically paying off forever? And it's because, you know, school debt, car loans, revolving credit, unsecured loans, all sorts of stuff that is adding up, that Americans are just becoming super accepting of. That it's like, well, I guess this thing costs $80,000. I can't afford to pay $80,000, so I'll just accept the fact that I'll make payments on it for the next 11 years or something. And it's like, well, so your earning potential is completely shot because now you're spending all this money every single month forever, regardless of how income is up, income is down, income fluctuates or anything like that. Then you end up really in this position of this indentured servitude, realistically, is what's going on. You know, so it's really kind of an issue where, you know, Fish Tropic says, but debt isn't made up, over $1 trillion in school loans. Right. So the economic mobility in the United States has always been tied to your education. Okay. It has always been tied to your education, and the earning potential that you have over a lifetime compared to non-bachelor's degree holders is astounding, okay? And if we're either A, wanting everybody to have a bachelor's degree, or B, wanting everybody to be a mix of bachelor's degree people and regular, basically unskilled laborers, right? Which is what the conversation is about when we're talking about minimum wage. We're not talking about skilled labor who can argue their position or argue they can basically argue the contract that they're going to take with a company to go like, hey, give me an extra $8,000 because I got to move from Minneapolis to San Diego to come to work there, right? Unskilled labor doesn't have that type of negotiation to bring to the table. They just don't. They don't have the ability or the leverage to argue for any of those things, right? But the basically economic mobility in the United States has always been tied to education, and you need a higher education in order to have some kind of earning potential over your lifetime. It's something like, what is it, like 8 to 1? It's like $8 to 1. Somebody who carries a bachelor's degree versus somebody who doesn't, like your earning potential in the U.S. And the United States real median income, household income in the United States, as calculated by the Fred economic data, whether you agree with these economists or not, that's fine. But their current applied numbers from 2018 was $65,000 a year for a household. To 2019 is $69,000. This is the first time I've seen it really like go down. To 2020 was $67,000 a year. And as we know, like the federal median income 2021 guidelines. Let's look those up real quick. So the national median family income for the United States is $79,000. An increase almost 2% over the national median family income, $78,000 for 2020. Twice this change is 3%, which is less So the income limits now in the United States are 79,000, which is crazy to think because you go, well, if the median income by the federal numbers is 79,000, and you're earning below that, like you're definitely in a low income bracket, and it's pretty clear if we do the easy math here, right? On this, we just can post it right here, $15 an hour, about 28,000 a year. So even if both you and your spouse are working,
You're still making
you're
less.
still making less than what is considered the median income, which means you're going to be subsidized by something. And I'm
Right.
not saying to take away those subsidies. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm even remotely here to say.
And in a lot of places, you still don't even qualify for subsidies if you make that much
Right.
between the two of you. And I know that because I have lived in subsidized areas, subsidized housing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's not fun. There's a lot more paperwork.
Let's see. Mickham says, common over here is 4 to 5 weeks paid vacation. I heard most in northern Italy. Bonus payment every December. Sweden, subsidized childcare, 80% of salary. Total 18 months for starting life of the kid. Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with people talking about, like currently right now, the, what is it called? When you have leave for the baby, what's that?
Maternity or paternity leave?
Yeah, paternity leave, especially revolving around the secretary of our transportation. What's his name? Pete Buttigieg, and his husband had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have decided to culture war against Buttigieg taking his paternity leave, even though he has an office job, which he's mostly working from home. But he's the secretary of transportation. He's not the overlord of transportation. He's literally one of the bureaucrats within that big office structure working on the transportation issue, right? It's not just him. There's shitloads of people that work in that right?
Yeah.
In that office.
Yeah.
It's like the CEO of IBM goes on vacation, right? Does IBM just stop? Right?
No.
Because the CEO's on vacation?
No.
I thought, by the way, I thought that in a hyper-conservative world, right? In the hyper-conservative world, the CEO is the most valuable employee, right? And they do all of this stuff, and they get all of this stuff done, and that's why they get compensated $19 million a year in stock options and all this crazy nonsense, right? Why is it that they can work remotely regularly and whatnot, but if somebody that works in the bureaucracy, right, like if they're on maternity or paternity leave, you're allowed to criticize them for being gone, even though they're still kind of working from home, while the whole corporate, the entity, the building just keeps doing what it's supposed to be doing. And we're going to send you the oversight emails so you can like kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
And if you need to interject or put the right people into place to do all this stuff. Like, why is that suddenly, like, we just throw that away? Like, let's not worry about that anymore. Like, none of that's important. It's just a gay guy going home to take care of his baby is a problem, right?
Yeah.
Because we're just going to focus around the culture war problem that he just happens to be a homosexual, right? Like, that's the big problem that we have.
Right. They got two dads, so neither of them get any leave to hang out with the baby.
Like, I literally heard Joe Rogan arguing with a comedian, by the way, which I will say this, just so all you guys know, I don't value Joe Rogan's opinion more than mine, because there's no reason to value his opinion more than mine, or a comedian, or anybody like that for that matter. But you heard Joe Rogan going, I thought ladies were supposed to stay home and take care of the baby because they gave birth to the baby. Okay, do you think the lady that gave birth to a human might need some help there, Joseph Rogans?
No.
Do you think she might need some help?
They're all like tore up and stuff, but it's fine. They just walk it off.
Yeah. So first off, yeah, women stay home to take care of the baby. Yeah. And they get some leave, right? Because of the physical side of it, but there's also a physical side of like raising the child, right? Like taking care of a child that can't take care of itself.
Right.
Where, like, at what point do you decide as a man that you're going to help her out? Well, I went to work. I get to eat a sandwich now and take a nap. Okay, well, don't you think it probably would be a better outcome if some of the parents are home to take care of the child while it's like initially come into this world, right?
Yep. So now you might think I might not know this, having not had a child myself, but I do know that babies have a tendency to wake up and then just start like crying and demanding care, like
It's kind of weird like that, right?
frequently,
Mm-hmm.
like more often than say your cat or whatever.
Right.
They just do. They wake up and they demand care, and so you never get that long restful sleep that you're used to, that long restful restorative sleep. And so like I've got, my sister was telling me about how she would be like, man, I haven't had a chance to even take a shower in like a week. I just need somebody to hold this kid for like an hour so I can just take a dang shower. But, you know, and it's like, it'd be nice if somebody could come and hold your kid for you. I would, but I'm 1,600 miles away.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing to just go like I don't know. Like it's always a weird position to sit around and listen to some of these like talking head buffoons that like, and you know, not to single out Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan was basically given free money as a retainer so that he would be on a TV show initially. Like he's told the story before. He came to LA to be a comedian. He got hired to be on a TV show. They gave him a $250,000 check in like 1988 or something like that.
Is that news radio?
No. This is way before news radio.
Oh.
This is way before news radio. This was some
Oh, that's right. News
TV
radio
show
is
where he played like a
mid-90s.
baseball player or something,
Oh.
which the guy never played baseball. It's literally like, why are you in a baseball show? Okay. They gave him a $250,000 check, and he didn't have to leave L.A. because he just had all this money and didn't have to leave. So then he literally was just like wandering around with money in the bank, and that's how he bootstrapped himself into like, now I'm famous. You know, it's like he bootstrapped himself into becoming famous by getting a basically a free check of $250,000 from a TV show, so he wouldn't be on a different TV show.
Right.
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 You're like,
They paid him retainer.
yeah. And so you're like, oh, okay. So I guess most of your opinions don't really mean anything to you. It's just you being a shithead so you can make $50 million for being on Spotify. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. You know, and it's like this whole false outrage about him taking ivermectin, you know, because CNN said that it was a horse medication. Now, I want to talk to the people that watch my show right here, okay? I've listened to that full CNN segment because I heard a whole bunch of people debating and arguing about it. So I listened to the whole segment. At the beginning of the segment, they gave out a disclaimer. At the end of the segment, they gave out a disclaimer. Somebody talking in the middle of this 2-minute segment said that it was horse medication, right? Now, in the United States of America, which generally CNN US is who they were airing that segment to, because CNN, by the way, has world channels and stuff that are completely different than the US version, right?
Oh.
They're way different. Like when I was in Peru, turned on the CNN World News, vastly different than the American version, right? Anyhow, in the United States, a lot of people around the United States have used ivermectin, and as a fact of the matter, Vicky and I have ivermectin here in this building right now.
Okay.
for our chickens. Ivermectin has regularly been utilized over the last 10 years as a animal medication, as an antiparasitic, right? We didn't have to get a prescription for it. Our chickens had mites, so we got ivermectin from...
Do they eat the ivermectin for mites, or do you put it on the outside?
You inject them subcutaneously, so we have a bunch of disposable needles, and then you have to get a certain ml, however much it is, I forget, I don't know off the top of my head. But you have to get a certain ml of it, and then inject it under the skin of the chicken.
So it gets in their fat later?
Yeah, I don't understand 100% how it works, but it's an antiparasitic. Now, here's the thing. If if I was to say to most Americans 2 or 3 years ago, what's ivermectin, most of them would have been, I don't know. And you've been like, it's a medication used in animals a lot. A lot of them have gone like, oh, yeah, I got that for my horse, or I got that for my chicken, or I got that for my goats, or I got that for whatever. It's fairly well known. We went to the farm store and picked it up. Like, we literally, like, hey, the vet told us over the phone we needed to get this.
Yeah.
And the farm store was like, oh, cool. And they went in the back and got it, and we paid for it and left. Like, that's it. That's all we did. There wasn't any, like, we need a doctor to call the doctor somebody, right? No, it was just like, we talked to the vet on the phone. We said, hey, our chickens have mites. They said, oh, go to the farm store and get this, and then do this and do that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, like, when ivermectin came up, it was like, do we have that stuff here? And Vicky was like, yeah, we have a bottle of it up in our lockbox. Huh. So no kids or anybody get into it, right?
Right.
But, it's like, it's been well known in the United States that, like, that has been utilized over this last while as a deworming medication and an antiparasitic for farm animals and stuff. Like, it's around. And so when people put out the disclaimer, because all these rumors are going around that you're supposed to use this medication for COVID, which is not.
Yeah.
It has not been approved at all for any kind of treatment towards COVID. And then Joe Rogan comes out this whole time where he's been saying that COVID's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. I got my immune system. I take my vitamins, and I karate kick a bag, and so I'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, sir. But then when he catches COVID, he suddenly takes 7 prescription medications.
Yep. Because it's not a big
7 prescribed medications because it's not a big deal.
Nope.
Right? And then pitches a giant hissy fit because CNN covered it. Because he literally took the time to go like, hey guys, I'm on Instagram and I'm kind of sick and I'm taking a bunch of medication and look at me, I'm on Instagram. That was how good he covered what was going on. And then he got mad that CNN said that it was horse medication. Uh-huh. That's the amount of effort that this man has put into it.
Yep.
And it's bullshit. And the thing is, like, somebody asked me, like, you wouldn't say that to Joe. Of course, I would fly to Austin, go on his show, and tell him the same thing. Now, would it be a completely different situation where he would probably be acting very overbearing, have a whole bunch of people around the place to influence me? Probably. Mm-hmm. Probably. Mm-hmm. He has, I know for a fact, he has a bunch of bodyguards hanging around his building. He has a bunch of armed guards around there and stuff. So I would imagine that it would probably be a little off-putting. So when somebody like Sanjay Gupta, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, goes on there to try and, like, hey, let's just talk about the science. Let's talk about what's going on here. I'm the doctor at CNN, right? Like, I'll come talk to you. And you get ambushed by a guy who's...
You walk into the lion's den.
and then it's like, oh, see, look, Joe Rogan got him. And, like, okay, you ask 10 questions really quickly, and then, oh, now you've got him. Like, okay, is that how that, was that really, like...
Got him.
Yeah, it's like, and the whole thing is just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. Like, this whole crap just pisses me off. And to be honest with you, like, the big takeaway there should be the guy who says that it's not a big deal when he gets it take 7 prescription medications,
Yeah.
self-admittedly,
Yeah.
and refuses to get vaccinated. So he's willing to put 7 different prescription medications, a bunch of them experimental, so one of them not approved for even the illness that he has, right?
Yeah. It's
but he's
crazy.
not willing to get vaccinated. What? And then it should be like, oh, and the guy's just out here. And then if I go, oh, the guy's out here on the grift because he's just lying, right? So that he can continue to make a bunch of money off of being famous, right? By creating, oh, I don't know, culture war nonsense where he's like criticizing Pete Buttigieg for taking time off for having a kid, right?
Yeah. We're living in a weird
We're living in
time.
a weird time. Like, how does this make sense?
We're living in a time in a pandemic where we've got vaccines that help to fight the spread of the pandemic, and somehow you are still allowed to be a caretaker for super old people and not be vaccinated and come to work sick with COVID and infect all the old people on
Right.
the ward. It's crazy. I think it's crazy. And I think people like that should not be working in those situations. And if they knowingly are infecting people,
Right.
they should be prosecuted in the same way that people who knowingly have certain diseases and then knowingly infect other people through needles or other methods
Right.
are also prosecuted.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just a really it's just like a really like a really weird bonkers situation here right now. And you know, like people tell me like, "Hey, don't talk about this stuff on your show. Like I only tune in to hear about fish." And it's like hey man, you want to talk about fish? You want to talk about fish tanks? You want to talk about plants? You want to talk about that stuff? We can talk about that. We certainly can.
This is my beta face.
That's your beta face? But there's also the like, where does this hobby go as everything gets extracted from all of the people that are unable to even like do this hobby anymore, right?
It
Vicky
becomes
works-
the hobby of the wealthy.
Vicky works full time. I work full time.
Yep.
When is there time to promote this hobby, right?
Right.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to take time from Olivia, from my daughter. Oh, okay. I bet Joe Rogan says, yeah, you got to hustle grind. You got to be on your hustle grind mindset. You got to work out 16 hours a day. You got to sleep 16 hours a day. You got to take 400 different weird medications that I just made up, like Alpha Brain and all this bullshit, right? When do you have time for things that actually matter for your life, like your child, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm supposed to take the time out of my child so that I can promote the hobby that I really enjoy. When do I have, do I have time to do the hobby that I enjoy? Because I should be busy promoting and doing production for the hobby that I enjoy, or what? Like, there is a point where you gotta take into consideration like some of this like nonsense that we're taking in, and how are we going to critically think about that stuff? Because we do want to promote this hobby. We do want to promote the bettering of the world. We want to promote the bettering of the environment. We want to promote doing what people are supposed to be doing, and that's incrementally improving the world around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
To make it a better place for us, to make it a better place for animals, to make it a better place, period.
Mm-hmm.
If the fence is falling over, do you fix it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just
Apparently, if you're the neighbors two houses down from me, you don't. But if you're the
Right.
neighbors with me and my direct neighbor, we do.
Right. Fish Tropic says, hey, why didn't you go to Aquashella? How are these events considered essential? I didn't go to Aquashella because I personally take issue with a lot of the people that promote Aquashella. I've got into verbal and almost physical altercations with people that have promoted that convention. The people that run it, the 2 guys that run it, are fine. Those guys are totally fine. But there are people that they pay to show up to those things that I have well-known disagreements with. And when I say well-known, like they know them. You as a viewer might not know what I'm talking about, but those people know what I'm talking about.
I probably know some of it.
And so the issue is like, why would I go out of my way to spend money, my own money and my own time with my family, to go promote a thing that is promoting people that I take serious issue with? Now, I have even stated last week that I would gladly go to Vivarium again in the Netherlands. It was a great convention. It was put on by a lot of interesting people. There was a lot to gain for anybody that's watching this right now. If you went to Vivarium, you would have learned something. You would have probably experienced something, and you probably would have had a good time. It would have been a learning, fun thing to go to. I don't know that specific convention provides those things for people. It might, but I haven't seen evidence of that. I've seen a lot of promotional stuff for it that just literally looks like, let's party.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a party. And that's fine. It's not for me. It's not something that I would be promoting. So
unfortunately, that's
when the aquatic experience was happening, I did a great, or I don't know if I did a great job. I did a great bit of promoting that convention because it was for kids. It was supposed to be, supposed to be around kids being able to come experience the aquatic hobby, basically. There's like a shark tank for kids, and the sea lions and stuff were there for kids and things like that. There was kids aquascaping stuff. That what was promoted was kids aquascaping, right? Not YouTubers aquascaping, kids aquascaping. Kids come, compete, aquascape, be able to take your tank home with you, also win some prizes, and also have fun while you're doing it and learn some stuff. So there was a big issue when I was approached to go do that, and I said, "Hey, who's gonna be in that? Who's gonna be in this? What's it gonna be about?" And they very loosely were like, it's blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Sounds like you guys are having a party for a weekend that you make money at. It's like a rave, right?" Which I'm not against people having a concert, having a rave, having a party, and making money off it. I don't care. It's fine by me. But I'm not going to go out of my way to promote that. Like, why would I? Like, this doesn't have anything to do like with what I'm trying to promote. I'm literally promoting getting sober. Like, we even had that earlier in the show. Like, we're talking about getting sober. Like, you could make a change in your life that could make it a lot better than getting hammered all weekend and partying and doing all that kind of crap. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those. It's just that's why. And I don't want to spend $3,000 to promote something that I don't want to promote.
Right.
Which people will be like, it's going to cost you $3,000. Like, yeah, airfare, hotel, food, travel, taking all the days off to go do it, recording a bunch of videos beforehand, recording videos while I'm there, losing sleep, probably getting sick. When you go to these conventions, you're probably going to get sick from somebody, which means you're going to come home. You're probably going to miss some days because you got to
deal with the crud.
Yeah, you got to stay home and be sick and try not to give it to other people. You might end up just giving it to your family, and then it rotates around in your family, and then you are constantly having bronchitis and weird respiratory issues because the sickness that you caught after going on a convention, you accidentally gave it to your daughter, then your daughter gave it to your wife, then your wife gives it back to you once it's kind of mutated a little bit, then you get sick again, and then Fish Tropic gives you a ration of shit whenever you come online, and you go, you know what? I'm not feeling well again. You know? You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Concrete is horrible.
Yeah.
Um,
Concord's real. But, like, would I
yeah.
fly to Florida and try to catch all the anti-maskers, whatever they've caught down there? Probably not.
No. No, I really wanted to go to Cataclysm this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked really promising that I would be able to go back in June when it seemed like everything was petering out. And then, well, it was in October that it was being held. And I was just like, you know,
Right.
maybe next year. These fish live a long time.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, Zip Gun says, no, wait till COVID is over, then come down and catch some fish. But here's the thing. Like, I would go down to Florida and hang out with Zip Gun and Robert and, well, whoever else is down there. I mean, obviously, we'd figure it out. But I would go down and, like, catch some fish and stuff. But, like, I've been to a lot of conventions in my life. I've been to a lot of comic conventions. I've been to a ton of concerts, like, just way too many concerts. I've been to, like, parties in the desert. I've been to all sorts of crazy stuff. I've gotten sick many, many times because you go around that many people that are all breathing and in close proximity, and you just run into that many people. Your immune system is just generally not ready for it.
Yeah.
It's just generally not ready to get 1,000 different strains of whatever. You're probably going to succumb to one of them. Plus, you're super tired from the travel, sleeping in a hotel. Who knows how clean the hotel is even, really, you know? Like, come on.
Don't bring your black light to the hotel. You'll just get upset.
Yeah. Preston's here, one of our formerly one of our producers. Says, removing blue paint on a 240-gallon acrylic tank, rubbing alcohol and a sander. I now look like a blueberry. Is there a better way? Rubbing alcohol on acrylic is not the way, and I'm trying to remember what it is.
Wouldn't you do like a water sanding?
Well, you definitely do want to do water because rubbing alcohol, I think, will craze the acrylic, which will discolor and craze. I forget what it was. Removal from acrylic. Like, I've always, like, wet sanded it off with compound. Yeah, you want denatured alcohol? No, that's acrylic stains for acrylic nails. Oh, somebody's here. Who's here? Oh, Zip Gun. Zip Gun's calling in. What are you doing, bud?
Hello.
I almost said your real name. I always have to remember to say Zip Gun.
He's good either way.
Today we shall call you Bruce.
This whole time I've known him as Zip Gun for so long that one time he told me his real name and I was like, no, your name's Zip. Sorry.
It's close. It's close to a famous rapper's name.
That's okay. It's Zip.
Zip Gun. Hey,
It
Carson
works.
is here. Oh my God, Carson is here. If you guys don't know about Carson, I shared out on the community tab. I shared out on the Discord. I shared it out. I found out on Monday. I've been having a hard time here with people being not doing well health wise. A couple of friends have died in the last couple of weeks. One over the weekend. And I found out on Monday that one of our longtime supporters of the channel, he's been a moderator for years and years and years now. In fact, he also even helped build some of the old studio at the old, what the hell was the show that Corey and I did? The Real Fish Talk.
Yes.
So if you remember the Real Fish Talk, Carson actually even helped out with some of the Real Fish Talk. I found out on Monday that he is going through some health concerns. We'll put it that way. If you want to click the link right there, it will take you to the GoFundMe that gives you a full explanation of what is going on health-wise. I don't want to misspeak. That's the reason why. I don't want to misspeak. I just found out on Monday what's going on, and we're doing our best to help out. And From a personal standpoint, I know that Carson's listening. Carson's a good friend of mine. His wife called to let us know what was going on, and we didn't know what was going on until Monday. For some really stubborn reason, I don't know why they were keeping it hush-hush. And I'm not criticizing that decision. I'm just saying I was sort of blindsided by all the stuff that was going on, and you might be also. So if you get a chance to click on that GoFundMe and go check it out, my request to everybody that's watching is not necessarily to donate, because I'm not implying a financial anything on anybody, but go read and share it out if you can, because you have an account somewhere. You can share it out. That's totally free. And if you feel like donating, everyone would appreciate it. Everyone would appreciate if you can. It's not a hard sell, but I am a hard sell on the fact that you can go freely share it out on a free social media application that you haven't even had to pay any money for. You just signed up for it, and they stole your information, and now they're selling it to companies. So you might as well do some good with it, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Did it work? Did that make sense?
Yes.
Did that make sense?
To me, but possibly because I already read the
Right.
GoFundMe and everything.
I don't know.
And looked at all the pictures.
And as a reminder to people out there, life is ridiculously short. Okay, it can be. I know I mentioned this on Monday that I had a good friend who fell off a deck, hit his head, and died. And it's just a reminder that life is really short, and that's one of the reasons why I talk about being sober now. That it might end up being today's the last day, and I don't want to be a negative influence on the world, a negative influence on the people around me, and that's one of the biggest reasons the main reason I got sober.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to continue to be a negative influence on the world and people around me. And there are lots of people that don't think that that's important, and that's fine. Feel free to just do whatever you want. I don't care. But to those people that may or may not be thinking about making a change or something like that, I'm an idiot, and if I can do it, you guys could probably figure it out too. A lot of people help me out. Help out there is free. Just look up AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. You can look up Narcotics Anonymous. You could look up Marijuana Anonymous, and there's something in your area that you could go to that is free. Okay? Okay. All right. Zip, why are you calling? What's going on today, bud?
I'm kind of hyped up. I saw at IKEA.
Yeah.
They've got these little recycling bins, and they actually look like they might be really nice collection buckets.
Okay.
The lids are connected to them, and you've got a little spot you can open up and throw the fish in and pop it back down, and then open the whole thing up to pour it out. They didn't have any. They were out of them when I was looking at it, but they had the display model. I was like, oh, that would be perfect.
Wait, does IKEA have an Amazon? I bet you they don't. IKEA recycling bin with lid? Is it 6 gallon? I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, it was like 5 or 6 gallon.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. We just Amazon searched some competitor, I guess.
Hey, it might be the same type of thing.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't think it is.
Yeah, you might have to
Yeah,
link the IKEA link.
Yeah, you have to send me a link to what it is. So maybe we'll be able to find an Amazon thing that we could get people to buy stuff on Amazon because we're an Amazon affiliate. I don't know.
Did we ever figure out how to fix the paint on the back of that tank?
Oh, on Preston's tank?
Yeah.
So, the last time I had to take paint off, I was just thinking about this. The last time I had to take paint off of acrylic, there was some chemical, and I think it was oil. I think it was like baby oil. No, mineral oil. Because it
Which is baby oil.
It gets all weird in your fingers. We put that on there. And then I used this acrylic scraper. Let me find this thing. It's like a plastic scraper. Scraper for paint removal. Here. It's this weird thing so that it's like a non-marring scraper. Here it is. There it is. It's a plastic razor blade scraper 2-pack. Oh man, you get 100 of them for $10, $11.
You could just scrape paint
You
all
could
day.
just scrape paint all day. I think it was mineral oil that we put on there. And then used these scrapers. But ultimately, this scraper is what came in the most handy. The most handy thing was this. And before I add the link in here, well, there, it's already added in. We are an Amazon affiliate around here, and I already clicked the we're sponsored button before we went live on the show, so people would know that any links that were shared in here. But I also got to let you know, Federal Trade Commission. But click that link and go buy a ton of stuff from Amazon, and I'll get a commission. That's very small. Let's see how much commission we've made this month. People haven't been buying anything through the Amazon links lately, so it's not good. Let's see.
I've actually not been buying anything lately.
$16.24 this month, guys. Baller. Yeah, so needless to say, if you guys buy a ton of stuff through Amazon, we'll make money. But if you only buy a few things every once in a while, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I already gave this month and last month's Amazon earnings to Alyssa for gas. So, I think we're somehow even. I don't know.
Does
Who
that
knows?
make me sponsored by Amazon?
No. I just sent you cash that I'm going to be taxed on later because I don't have a 1099.
And technically, unless I'm
It's
making
under
more-
$560 a year, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's just me giving
I
you
thought
some.
it was
It's just
$1,200.
literally me giving you some gas money. That's all that it is.
Yep.
So it's fine.
Yep.
Because that money doesn't even come out of my business earnings. That comes out of my already taxed income. God, that's post-tax money. It's like I'm paying you extra.
I know,
I already
right?
paid the taxes on it, damn it. Oh, God. We're all going to the poorhouse because of gas or something.
Yes.
Because farts. Is what I mean. Farts. Brought to you by farting. Let's see. Zipgun says embrace the blue. You know how it is. It's like a dunk tank of new fish. I don't know what that means. So Preston, I think that's the answer for you, is those plastic scrapers. Those worked out great. And I think it's mineral oil was the thing that we were putting on there to get it off. Because it helps, it like balloons behind the paint or whatever. I don't know why. But also I think it probably depends on the type of paint that you have on there. I'm going to close all these extra tabs I got open, like ligers. We don't need to know about ligers. There we go. All right, I'm pushing buttons. All right, I'm in the wrong studio window. There we go. Okay. And chat window. There it is. Alyssa drives a Honda Fit. There you go. She drives a Hellcat. Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's a lot of a car. It's a
Oh.
lot car. I think the Hellcats are like 1,000 horsepower.
Oh, wow. I mean, like, my cat is kind of a...
Oh, they come
Hellcat.
out. They start out at 800 horsepower. Okay, 797. But I think, as far as I know, you can you get some little additions. You get them over 1,000 horsepower, which is just it's the death throes of capitalism. Really, like the cars now coming out with like 800 horsepower off the lot. It's literally like, well, we could have made this 50 years ago, but we decided not to because technologically they would have just put themselves out of business, you know? But now they're in the death throes of like understanding that gasoline is going to go away at some point, and so they're just selling the Insano car technology that they already had. IKEA had plastic containers perfect for hashing kili eggs some years ago. Kruset named over here in Sweden. The Krus? I don't know what that is. I try not to go to IKEA.
Because it's a weird labyrinth full
It's
of
a-
people walking slowly and being in the way.
It's a crazy place.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Yep.
They need to open up like more locations for it to chill out, I think. I think that's one of the problems.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that IKEA will ever be able to chill until they have more locations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's only like one location in like Washington, Oregon, Idaho. Hold on, let me see.
There's one right outside of Portland, and there's one in Renton.
Yeah, well, I know there's only one. There's only one in
Tukwila?
Washington. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all of Washington State. IKEA on a map. Find IKEA stores near you. Here we go. Is there one in Portland?
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's the
okay.
tax-free one because they don't have.
Okay, so there's one in Washington State, south of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in Portland, Oregon. There are none in Montana, none in Idaho, none in Wyoming, none in South Dakota, none in North Dakota, none in Nebraska, one on the east side of Kansas, one in Colorado, one in Utah, one in South Nevada. So you're talking about this giant area where there's two, and one's in Portland and one's in Renton. I'm just saying, you get people that like drive over from Boise, Idaho to go to the one in Renton, and they're like, they're in travel rage mode.
Yeah.
Right? And like, they're losing it in the store. That's what I'm saying. You got to get more stores so that people can like travel from only 100 miles instead of like 300 miles or whatever to go to your thing. Because they're like, well, we don't want to order it and have it delivered because the delivery's too much or whatever. I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, and it's I don't know if it's a well-known phenomenon, but where people could go, they go as a family or a couple or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then by the end of their trip to IKEA, they've broken up.
Right.
And I know that people have called it like the IKEA test to see if your relationship is going to last.
Oh. That's true. I've heard people say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Costco does the same thing to couples.
Yeah.
You know, Lowe's, Menards, hardware stores, that does the same thing. It's always stressful to like go shopping with your spouse, especially when it's like you don't know what you're there for, but you kind of like want to see what you're there for. That's
Right.
the problem that I've always experienced, right? Is like Vicky and I have gotten into arguments at like Home Depot, you know, where it's like she'll be like, we got to go to Home Depot, we got to get a thing, and I'm like, what's the thing for? Oh, we got to get the thing from over here. Oh, I know what that is. We'll go get that. Okay. But then we go there, and then it's like, oh, but I got to get this other thing and this other thing, and then like, but I think this will work for the thing, and then I go like, that doesn't work for that. You need to get the thing over here, and it's like, no, but I think this will work, and it's like, I've installed that before, and it didn't work, so we had to do the other thing. That's why I'm telling you, you know. And then it's like, and then I'm being a jerk, you know, and it's like, well, maybe I am, but like I'm just trying to make us not spend money on a thing that doesn't work.
I can tell you I have stopped going to my local Lowe's because in my town we have a Lowe's, not a Home Depot, because it's just so like I have gone so far as to go to the website for that store, look up the specific items that I need, write down the aisle and the bay for each one, and then go to the store, and then the numbers for the aisles don't make sense. Or it's not in the bay that it's supposed to be.
Right.
Or it's not in the store, even though it says online that they have 15.
Well,
And-
Lowe's is the worst for that because the Lowe's stores. So here's what's weird about Lowe's versus Home Depot, right? So the Lowe's stores don't communicate with other Lowe's locations. Like, is it intra store, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because intra is outside, right?
Yeah,
Or-
because inter would be
Yeah.
inside.
So the stores don't communicate with each other. It's very weird. Like if you
Yeah.
buy something at a Lowe's location, you have to take it back to that same location because none of the other Lowe's have the record of you buying it there,
Yeah.
even though it's all online. Like this just could be networked very easily. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, for whatever reason, it's like that. They'll be like, well, we don't We don't care to do that. And you're like, I don't care to shop here then.
Right.
Fucking idiots. So it's just very weird. All right. We got no super chats.
Yeah,
Zip.
we did. We had several super chats
We have no.
Yes,
we
sir.
haven't had any super chats.
since then.
Yes. I'm looking at the chat and I'm saying, well, we don't have any super chats to address right meow.
Okay.
And then I was going, Zip, what do you got?
Yes.
What do you got other than IKEA containers?
That's pretty much it.
Ah, damn it. Okay.
Sorry.
What was that?
Don't be sorry. It's like, is that it? Yes. Poop. I'm disappointed.
What
I'm
was
not
that
mad at you. We're still friends.
food service supply store that you're supposed to go to get those clear container things with the sturdy plastic?
Food service supply. It used to be called cash and carry. It's now called like food service supply.
Oh.
I don't know what. Oh, hold on. Eh,
It's like, we're just going to call ourselves what we are and make it easy. And then I'm like, I don't understand.
sorry. Sorry. It's now called Smart Food Service Wholesale. God, I can't even say this. Smart Food Service Warehouse Stores, where restaurants buy better.
Buy better?
Formerly known as Cash and Carry. Cash and Carry was conglomerated by a giant company, and they now call it Smart Food Service Warehouse Stores. Because when you look up food service, warehouse, or store, or whatever, it literally has the new name has all of the SEO, search engine optimized keywords is in the new name. And that's the name now. And it's crazy, but that's what's up. It used to be called Cash and Carry, and now it's called Smart Food Service Warehouse Stores, because it's 2021 and everybody looks everything up on the internet, and you'll look it up and it'll be the first response that you get. And then we realize that we live in crazy oppressive capitalism, which is just extract every dollar out of every person at all times. By the way, become a member on the channel anytime soon, and then we'll have money to make YouTube videos for you guys and pay gas for Alyssa's Hellcat that she's driving around out here doing burnouts in the middle of the road. It's ridiculous, but we're all making cash, so we might as well buy some gas and burn it up in the street, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Just
And
trying
then
to tear off some of the wear on my tires.
You could be a smart shopper. You could be a smart shopper down here on YouTube, just like Zipgun, who's on the phone right now, by going over to www.patreon.com/JOEL_the letter C, as in cha-cha-cha, and then you donate all your money in there. You put in all of your credit card information and donate all your money in there, and then we'll make more YouTube videos for you. Smart shopper. Aisle 5. Push the button. Do the thing. Become big time. Or you could super chat. Or Jeff Bezos is going to come over here and steal the show and is going to take us over to Twitch. And the next thing you know, oh my God, we're on some other platform called Twitch. Owned by the bees. And then he's going to tell me not to talk about stuff, which I will politely refuse and talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. Because I'm a hillbilly and I'm going to be a farmer for Halloween for my daughter. All right, that's it for the show today. Bye-bye now.